Hey everybody, today we're going to do a service. I got to service my KX040. It's the only piece I got to bring in before the season starts. Weather broke in this part of New Hampshire 3 or 4 weeks ago to the point where there wasn't even a snowbank left. I was up here splitting wood and wearing a t-shirt. 2 days later, we're sitting here. Wakefield got 20 something inches of snow. It's already melted down for a day or two. Doesn't look quite so impressive this morning, but I don't really want to plow up here because they're talking 40s and rain for 2 or 3 days this week, so I'm just going to let this melt off rather than plow and make a mess. The KX040 excavator I have is the only thing that's got to get serviced and before the season starts. All my other equipment's ready to go. So we're going to do a service and a review on the KX040. People have asked me many a times what I think about the excavator I have, and if I could do a review on it, what I thought. I had a KX71 before that. I bought in like 15. It was out of a rental fleet, but real low hours. I think it had like 175 hours on it, so it was pretty much brand new. I got into the 040 because I got a good deal on it. Getting rid of the KX71 was no problem either. They're a real well-known machine. The 040 was kind of what is going to replace the KX71. The day I bought it, that's pretty much what it was. Oh, this is going to replace it. The KX71 stayed around a lot longer after that because people like it. And I don't know if you can still buy the KX71 or not. It's 2024 right now. But I bought the 040 in 19. And it's a step up from the KX71. Not a big step, but it is a step forward. I think it's a little more horsepower, a little more digging, digs a little bit deeper and everything. But I'm gonna, I got it behind me, so we're gonna grab that this morning, let it warm up, and bring it in the garage, let it melt off tonight. Tomorrow we'll start working on it. I also got to touch up the paint a little bit. I'll show you behind me. We'll walk up to it. It's sad really, because this right here, this field was actually turning dark green grass. That's how long it had been since we had snow. Then we get this. Right now it's probably condensed down from the sun hitting it the last couple days. There's a pretty dense 8 inches of snow. But this is a 2019 KX040-4. I bought new in 19. It's been a wicked good machine. Before this I had the KX71, like I said. I have nothing bad to say about that neither. I got a good deal on this. The only reason I got rid of the KX71 is there was a dealership getting bought out by another dealer. He had 4 or 5 pieces of equipment that didn't go with that deal. So this was one of them. And so I got a good deal on it. I bought this well under market value when I bought it because of that. He only had a few weeks to get rid of stuff before the deal went through. And like I said, I think this was part of like 5 or 6 pieces that didn't go with that deal. So they had to go quick, and he gave me a good deal. And he also had somebody that wanted my KX71, so it worked out good. And I have no regrets. But we're going to do a review on it, what I think of it. A little bit of information on it. And there's really no weak points to this machine. This has just been a good machine, but we'll talk about it. I'm going to start it now, let it warm up, get it down the garage. I want to show right now on this machine, I got what they call an ice pick. I've had that on for a few days because I was moving logs around with it. Works good for moving the logs, especially stuff you're cutting up into firewood, because you can just pick it up and you cut the firewood 16 or 18 inches long. That pick's normally not affecting where you're going to cut with the chainsaw. On the ground in front of me is a 24-inch digging bucket with teeth, and I got a 30-inch bucket. Finish bucket for cleaning ditches and stuff like that. And there's actually a 48-inch bucket I want to get for ditching. A lot of times when you're just pulling leaves out and stuff, you could get away with a lot bigger bucket. I didn't think I wanted one until I see a guy that had one. He was cleaning out ditches on a private driveway, but after I see how well it worked, I kind of want to get one. They're just pricey. I'm kind of hoping someone bought one that doesn't use it much, and that's how he bought his. He said, you just got to keep an eye out. The buckets are pricey new, but you find a lot of guys will buy equipment. The day they buy that equipment, will buy everything the salesman tells them to buy. If they find they're not using it 2 years later, they normally will sell it while it still has some value and doesn't look bad. Any equipment you get, it tends to fade out and get rusty. Even a bucket, if you don't use it. I bought a plow a few years ago, a Curtis snow plow for some equipment that was probably 4, 5, 6 years old, faded out, but brand new. The guy never even unstrapped it from the skid I bought it from. So, and I bought it probably for a quarter of the price he paid for it. But I just figured I'd take a shot, the equipment that I got with this, and then we'll get it down to the garage. I basically want to get it in there today, let it melt off. We'll start working on it tomorrow. This needs a full service, and I want to touch up the paint a little bit. It's got some spots I don't like, and I had some brush hit it pretty bad last year, and I working in a real tight space behind the house with rock wall, and just scratched up the weight on the back, counterweight, so I want to get that cleaned up. But you'll see it in the video. I want to show some of the damage down there. That orange got scratched up. There's a good dinger in that door. Again, I think I might just buff that out and maybe try to blend the paint. I'm not looking to get real crazy with the paint. I got other stuff in here I got to do, but it needs a good buffing back here. It's starting to fade. That counterweight got pretty dug up the last couple seasons. I believe we cleaned this up pretty good two years ago. Like I said, I'm going to do the review on it, clean it up a little bit, do a complete service, and then we'll talk about it a little bit during the video. I wasn't quite ready to trade. That KX040 still had a lot of life in it, but I was looking at these when I was at the dealer buying something else. The deal I made with them basically is I said, you get me out of the machine I just bought, because I had bought another small tractor. I had to bring it in. It's the only machine that has to get serviced before the season starts. Everything else is done. The hydraulic oil I did last fall, midsummer, because I had a couple hoses break, and I just thought it'd be a good time to bring it in. I brought it, fixed the hoses that day, but brought it home and did the hydraulic oil, which I'm not going to do it again that quick. It's a very expensive. Even me doing this machine myself, when you do the hydraulic oil, filters, everything, it probably cost me $300 to $400 even doing it myself. So I just went in, cleaned up the cab a little bit, and there's a cabin filter. I cleaned those or changed those. I'm gonna try to get this paint to look good. So this machine, it sees some action. Even though I'm a small company, this is probably what gets the most hours put on it. Over the year when you're greasing it, the grease comes out and just like goes all over the machine. I bring it in. I've always brought my extra, even when the KX040, I always bring it in the spring, clean up all the grease fittings real good, clean the grease off from it, re-grease it real good. I'm a big fan of the red and tacky, and I think Valvoline makes another one that's pretty good, but I used a red grease. It's a little thicker, stays on better. What I did this morning is I cleaned up the glass inside and out. I'm gonna try to bring this paint back. It's not, the only complaint you're ever gonna hear me say about Kubota products is their paint sucks. You'll have a machine, like some of my tractors will fade 3 different colors. As the orange fades away, some of it gets real faded, other stuff turns like a red color, the other ones will turn like a pink. But the machine, like I said, it's a 19, today is March of 24, and I probably will paint it. I don't plan on getting rid of this machine. Even if I get another excavator, I'm probably going to keep this one. But this machine still has, I don't waste hours on a machine neither. You'll hear me say that when I'm moving logs or doing firewood with this. I really don't like using this machine. This machine, the cost of this machine, you got to be digging with it. It's got to be making you money, or you don't want hours going on the hour meter, because it's just like a car with high mileage. The more hours that go on this, the less it's worth. I really try to keep my equipment up. You'll see I got other videos out there where I go through a tractor pretty good once in a while, paint it, change the seat if I have to. The Kubota equipment, I know I'll probably make some people angry when I say this, but I really do think the Kubota equipment keeps its value. Kubota and John Deere. I'm personally not a John Deere fan. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I haven't had real good luck with what I have had, and I've had brand new stuff. The Kubota, you'll see me have Kubota because I've had good luck with it. It also, when I'm ready to sell this will sell, and it will sell fast. My loader that I sold a couple years ago, that was literally for sale probably for an hour, just word of mouth, and I had people that wanted it because they knew I kept up with it. Even if I get other equipment, I'm going to probably keep this. So again, I'm going to do a review on it. I'm going to say why I bought it, and probably the biggest reason is this is the biggest I can go with and haul on a 3/4 ton pickup with a 14,000 pound trailer. And I'm going to get into that later in the video, why I chose this and why I chose a certain trailer, and how close a lot of people don't understand how the CDL laws work. I don't have a CDL license, so everything I have to haul with a pickup truck. This right here, I literally can't hook my 14,000 pound trailer to my F350 dump truck, which I think the law should change because that would be the safer vehicle for me to pull this with. But I have to go get a CDL to use my 1-ton dump truck to pull this on a trailer. I pull this with a single wheel F350 because of the GVW. You basically got to stay under the 26,000 pounds. Like I said, you put this on a 14,000 pound trailer, deduct the weight of the trailer and deduct the weight of this. This is within about 200 to 250 pounds of what the maximum you can tow without a CDL. So in this video, I'm going to do a review on it. What I've had for luck in 5 years, which is very good, I'm going to say right now. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, so that will be part of the video. But at the end of the video, I'm going to explain, you know, the weight of it and what you can haul it with legally and not have a CDL. But all the paint's really starting to lay back, and that will be the only complaint you'll probably ever hear me say on a Kubota. I'm going to try to get some of this grease cleaned off, and we'll start there. But like their boom's got some rust there, I want to get that. That's nothing structural, but again, I think a lot to do with their business is keeping yourself professional looking. That's why another reason I do these videos, cleaning up my equipment. What I found over the years works the best to clean the grease off that arm or stick, whatever you want to call it on an excavator, is lacquer thinner. You just take lacquer thinner on an old rag, and I clean out all the fittings real good. There's always 1 or 2 fittings as the summer goes on. They'll get dirt in them or whatever. I normally got to change a couple out to get it to take grease easier. It's normally down where you're sticking this into the muck all the time. I just figured I'd do a shot and explain. You take a rag and put a little bit of lacquer thinner on it. It breaks the stuff right down, cleans it off real good. So, and like I said, I'm going to try to do something to get this to shine a little bit more. And I want to buff that door and that bottom panel, and I'm only going to just try to touch up that paint and blend in the clear. I want it to look good, but I don't really want to get into doing major work on this right now. I just want to show I buffed up that boom arm a little bit where my lettering and number is. It's pretty faded back, both sides. I buffed out. I found a product that works pretty good. This was almost like a pink, and that's actually like a dark blue color, and then that plastic's black. But I use this 3M product. That's the number 05996. It's a polish, but I tried compounds because this rear gate was like laid right back to where it was almost, instead of orange, it looked pink. But this stuff brought that, it literally brought it right back to life. And I used an old style wool pad, and I just thought I'd take a shot. It even brought the dark blue back. That's what the pad looks like when you're done, so you're gonna have to wash it when you're done. All that is diesel that just gets all over the machine after running it for a season. But I'm gonna finish up cleaning it up. I just thought I'd take a shot at this point. I think that cleaned up. It cleaned up better than I thought it was gonna. I got the grease fittings changed. There was 2 of them. They get hit with a rock or whatever and bend. I got the scratches sanded out, primed. The counterweight, I got 1 coat of paint on. Give you an idea how old that can is, but that's the paint you get from Kubota. I think I got this when I had my KX040, so that's old and seems to work fine. I'm going to put another coat on that counterweight, make the machine look a lot better. Probably do the orange tomorrow, and then change all the fluids and get this ready for the season. Very expensive. The filters and oil change and some other stuff I got to do. It's probably going to be about 300 to, I think it was like $326 out of pocket, even doing it myself, so it's crazy. I use everything from Kubota other than the motor oil. I use Rotella. I hit that with base coat. I'm going to clear it. I'm not getting crazy. I'm just going to blend it clear. I didn't even fix the ding in the door. I just wanted to get the chip paint, get it all orange. Probably 2 years from now I'll have to give this a pretty good going over. I'm going to wait till then. But something hit that door pretty hard. If I remember right, I had a couple stumps roll down a hill and roll into the side of it, and the bottom of it gets pretty scratched up. And like I said, I got to paint the counterweight. And the counterweight I just do with a spray bomb you get from Kubota dealer. This orange Kubota orange paint is stuff I had. It's an old can. That's some older stuff I got from Napa, but it seems to match pretty good, so I'm going to run with it. I'm going to just take a shot of this. I put the clear on, I just blended it. Down the bottom I got rid of all that chip paint, the one that was in the door. That kept care of that damage. And the boom arm. This here had some pretty heavy rust I cleaned up, and I just blended it. I'm happy with that. Like I said, it's a tool. It's a machine. I'm gonna keep it up. What's on this arm's fading back to the point where it buffed back, but I don't think it's gonna buff back again. But I'm happy with that for the season, and we'll paint the counterweight and go from there. I just thought I'd show. I got all the grease fittings cleaned up. I changed a couple because they kind of leaked when you were filling them. You had to get the machine in a certain, the arm in a certain position where it would take grease good. So, but a lot of them, like this one here, the rocks come down, whack that. If you're curling, brush up. But once in a while, you'll drop a rock, it will hit the blade, roll back. But everything took grease good. And another thing I do, some people might think it's a waste, but come springtime, you'll see there's a pretty good mess of grease on these. But I try to push all the old grease out that's been sitting in there all winter, because you'll get a lot of moisture. And I just take a rag, and wherever it's coming out, I try to move the arm around, move the pin so that when you're greasing it, it's staking it in different areas. But I try to get all that old grease from last season out. And you'll be surprised how much moisture comes out with it. I just put 2.5 tubes of grease through this machine, doing the push blade, the arms, all the mechanisms. I wasn't shy with it, every grease fitting on it. But I just put, like I said, I think I used about 2.5 tubes of grease, probably at least 2 tubes. But everything's running, got good grease coming out of it now, clean. Something I've done since I've owned equipment, even my backhoes and stuff like that over the years, any of my equipment, I do the same thing in the spring. I got the paint all touched up. I'm happy with the way that looks. It buffed up pretty good. I just did the oil change. Another thing I do, some people may not, but I normally drain back a couple quarts of antifreeze. Little things like that most people don't worry about. But you test your antifreeze. But like I said, even that dark color buffed up, that's the shiniest that's been in a couple years. I touched the paint up on it, I think 2 seasons ago. Problem is, them counterweights on Kubota equipment, I think it's that way on about everybody's equipment, but that's a rough piece of steel, and they Bondo the crap out of it with plastic body filler. And I didn't even want to waste my time with it. I smoothed it out so the paint would stick and went with it. It's completely done. I'm gonna go this afternoon. I gotta move a couple more logs up on the hill, so I do plan on power washing this pretty good once the weather gets here. Underneath the hood, that's how I try to get all the dust out of there every season. I cleaned up the cab real good. All the air conditioning, the cabin filter I changed. So this is pretty much good for the season now. I was gonna do this outside, but it's been very windy the last 2 days, and I don't think it will be good on the camera. It doesn't filter the wind noise that well. So I'm just going to say in here, I chose the KX040 when I replaced my KX71 because the 040 is the biggest Kubota machine you can buy and haul with a pickup truck. And I'm a small landscape company and I pull everything with an F350 four-door, which I believe is 11.5. One of my trucks is 11.5, the other one's 10.5. I got a 250 too, but the reason I chose the 040 is because that's the maximum weight I can haul with an F350 single wheel truck. I can't haul it with my F350 dump truck, and people have asked me in other videos what, I've said it before, I don't haul with that. They're like, why? I said, because combined, my trailer's 14,000, that truck's 14,000. That puts you at 28, so you got to have a CDL license. And a lot of people argue that on YouTube that that's not true, but I looked into it last year. I actually got pulled over by a DOT officer that lives in my town now. I asked him about it and he said DOT law is a federal law. It's across the country. So every state, you can say what you want. Oh, you can haul a 10,000 pound trailer behind an F550. No, you can't. If the combined registered weight of the truck puts you over 26,000, you're done. And a 550, I think, is 19,000, 19,500. The new F600, they just came out with a 22.5. So you can't have a 10,000, you know what I mean? So anyways, I chose this because I can haul it. And even then, you got to be careful what you choose for a trailer, because some 14,000 pound trailers, I have a video out there of my new tilt trailer I just bought. It's a Rice trailer. One of the reasons I chose that is because of what the trailer weighed. Because you got to deduct, it's 14,000 pounds, and you deduct the weight of the trailer and all, like if you got spare tire and everything, you got to deduct all that, and then that's actually what you can haul on that 14,000 pound trailer. A lot of people buy a 14,000 pound trailer and assume they can haul the 14,000. It's not that way. You deduct the weight of the trailer, and then my trailer figures out the Rice trailer is better than my last trailer. The last trailer I had was a load trail. It was built like a tank, but because of that, the trailer weighed a lot more. And that excavator being on that trailer was maxing me right out. I couldn't even keep an extra bucket on that trailer or I would have got in trouble. So when I went to look at this new trailer, I bought the Rice trailer because once in a while, most of the time I try to keep a clean out bucket with me. A lot of times I got the pick on it behind me now. They call that an ice pick. I use it for stumping and stuff like that. So if you have a couple extra attachments plus the machine, so right now that Rice trailer figured out weight-wise where I can keep this machine on it plus a couple extra buckets, even a compactor, because a lot of times I'll put a compactor on the front of the trailer, strap it down, so everything's one trip. So that's something else, this video I'm trying to point out to people. You got to be careful when you go buy these trailers. I mean, that Rice trailer, there was trailers I was looking at that weighed 1,500 to 2,200 pounds more for the same square footage top. Especially with the tilt trailers, they get heavy when you start it. Another reason I didn't go with the electric hydraulic, I just went with a damper and cylinder on mine. I wanted to keep the weight down. I'm more worried about what I can haul on my trailers than the GVW of it. I don't want a piece of crap trailer, and that's another thing you got to be careful, because there was trailers that were lighter than that Rice trailer too, but they were just built light, too light, I think. But this right here is all I want behind a pickup truck. My son-in-law has a CDL, so when he's working with me, he'll haul, always uses my 1-ton dump. And it does haul it a lot better. It's a law that the DOT should look into, especially when it's a federal law that goes across the whole United States. I think a guy should be able to haul his stuff with a 1-ton dump without a CDL. They need to change that law out, because it's much safer for me to be pulling this. If I lose my brakes, there's a lot more brakes on that 1-ton dual-wheel truck than there is a pickup truck. You just know the weight of my 1-ton slows this thing down better than the weight of a pickup truck. But that's something else I wanted to mention in this video. And I also want to say I have nothing bad to say about this machine. This 040 does everything you want it to do. I just thought I'd mention, like I said, I wanted to do a quick review. The luck I've had with this, I bought it. It's a 19, it's not March of 24 right now. That's never had a breakdown. I've never had to recall on it to bring back or nothing. The regen on it, it's nothing too. Kubota, I have 6 pieces of Kubota equipment right now. all have about the same type of regen on them. The same muffler. They don't use the DEF fluid. I haven't had any issues with any of them. It doesn't make sense. I don't think it's needed. I wish they didn't have to do it. But I'm just putting that out there too. I don't have issues with the regens on these at all. Once in a while, the timing sucks with it, to put it bluntly. This one here, you can definitely run and do the regen while you're using it. It's hard to with the tractors sometimes because you don't want the thing revved up, and you normally have to keep it revved up over 2,000 RPM. So depending on what you're doing, if you're mowing a field, you're probably fine. But if you're doing delicate work with it, you don't want it revved that high. But this newer equipment, even before this emissions went on, these don't smoke like older equipment. So I don't think there's any need of it on tractors. I really don't. I understand it more on an excavator that's going to 150, 200 gallons a day. But this machine here, most days I'm only probably putting 10 gallons in this, no matter what. I could be building rock walls, digging trenches with it. You're going to put 10, 12 gallons in it in a day, and that's a long day. They're very fuel efficient, so I don't think there's any need of the emissions on these smaller machines. But I'm just putting it out there. The 040's treated me right. I had no issues with my KX040 either. I just thought it'd be a good video where I had to bring it in, service it, touch up the paint. I also showed, I did a little short on the 3M product I used to buff this back up, because during that process I have a bunch of different products I use over the years. For whatever reason, I just said, well, I'll try this, and this, and then that third product that I used really buffed it up easy. I was using compound and weren't touching it. Then that polish is a polished compound. For whatever reason, if you look in the video, I'm pretty sure it's in this video too, I show the 3M number. So if you got a Kubota product with the paint laid back, and that is the only issue you'll have with a Kubota. I can honestly say, I've had Kubota equipment for 24 years of my 25 years in business. And I can honestly say I had one recall on one machine, on my loader, which was a couple years ago. And it was a weird thing with the fuel system. They had to put, I think they ended up putting a water separator on it that wasn't put on at the factory. Brought that back, and it worked out good for me, because while it was there, I thought the air conditioning should have been working better, and they looked into it and there was an issue with it, so they redid the whole air conditioning system for me too while they had it under warranty. That's the only machine that's ever gone back. I had another one probably 15 years ago. I think it was an MX 5200 or 5400 that I had. I had a front axle seal go, and I mentioned it to him, and he said, you bring it over next Thursday and I'll let you pick it up Friday. They redid the seal, never cost me a dime. They didn't come pick it up, I had to bring it to them, but it was still, but literally I've never had breakdowns with these Kubotas. I've never had gears breaking. I know there's been other brands in my shops over the years from customers that I have, and other construction guys in town. I've fixed machines anywhere that had broken gears in them, not Kubota, but I'm just saying I've had good luck with my Kubota products. Now I'm going to do videos once in a while and say that. And if I have bad luck, I will say it. I just haven't now in 25 years. I haven't. I don't think I'm going to. I think their products are superior of a lot of them. I'm not saying nothing bad about the other brands neither, because I think there's a lot of brands out there that are good for homeowners or hobby farm guys and stuff like that. I just use my equipment too hard. And I've had, over the years, I've had 3 or 4 other brands that I've bought, some brand new, and had horrible luck with them, with a lot of breakdown issues. And most of them, like even the new ones I bought, I traded them off for a Kubota probably with less than 300 hours on them, because I was so dissatisfied. So that's something else I'll add to this video. If you're looking at products, Kubota might be $3 grand more, $5 grand more sometimes, but it's money well spent. Another thing you're going to find when you buy these off brands, or not the big, let's say not the big 3 brands, if you decide a year later you want to trade that machine in, that's when you're going to realize you wish you would have brought a more common name, because they're worth nothing as a trade-in. And you can see that. Another thing I'm going to add in this video, if you want the proof to that, go to a John Deere dealership or a Kubota dealership, even Yanmar, like Yanmar excavators and stuff like that. Any dealer you go to, you'll see the off-brand tractors sitting there. It will be sitting there with 100 and something hours on it, and they'll sell that to you probably for 15 grand less than the guy that bought it. So that's how much he ate when he traded it in for whatever he was trading it in for. So that's, I don't like talking bad about other products, because if you bought another brand and you're having good luck with it, good for you. My experience with it hasn't been that way. I also don't like mixed up brands. Like I bought a brand new John Deere in '05. I thought the best part of that machine is that it had a Yanmar motor. Other than that, I didn't have that, and that's one of the big three, and I didn't have good luck with it. But that was me personally, and it was a very common tractor. I bought a 990 John Deere tractor in '05, and it was horrible to me. That ended up getting traded for an orange tractor with probably, I think it had 259 hours on it. And I've never looked back. Now, personally myself, to say I would never buy another brand would be a lie, probably, if the right deal came up. But I don't believe you'll ever see, watching my YouTube stuff, I don't care how long I'm in this or how long I'm in business, I think for the most part, you'll always see orange equipment. The only other excavator other than this that I would look into would probably be a Yanmar. Other than that, all the other brands seem to have issues. Little things about them I don't like. Either you sit in them and just don't feel comfortable in the operating station. I find the Kubotas are comfortable, the Yanmars. I also have a couple companies in this town that have had Yanmar excavators. One of the guys has got a Yanmar that's probably 27 years old that's still running. It's starting to use oil, but it's got thousands of hours on it. You never see a guy with a Yanmar excavator that doesn't talk highly of it. The Yanmar loaders, the little articulated loaders too, have always been well known in this area. The people that got them keep them. So it's nothing to see one of those with 8,000 to 12,000 hours on it, and on a 40-something horse motor. That's pushing it, and most of them are running good. So I just thought I'd give some thoughts on this video. We're gonna call this video here. I'm gonna say it in all my videos. I'm trying to get more subscribers. I'm gonna say, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. If you got any questions too, I guess that helps you on YouTube, if people like interact with you. I do have a lot of people. I have people call my business line sometimes and ask me about equipment because they're thinking about buying. I'm going to say in the last year, I've had 3 guys call me about my 430 loader and really wanted my opinion, because it's $50-something thousand to spend, and they want to know, do you? And I do. I love that machine. And if I didn't, I'm honest. You're going to see me do other videos on any equipment I have. If I had something that didn't treat me good, I'm going to be honest about it. Right now, I'm having a pretty good run with what I buy. I try to do my homework too before I buy it. Anything for the business. But again, if you like my content, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.